Hey Duncan, how's it going, man? It's Yoni here, just giving you a quick kind of like review of your assignment this week. It's looking really good. A big change over the last couple of weeks. I think you've kind of like been refining it and refining it, and it's getting, it's getting clearer at each stage. So it's like I see the attitude of the characters has changed quite a bit as well, but it's great. I love also, some of the subtle stuff which is in here. Like the little pinching on the fingers of the hair, how he washes his hands, how he's drying these things off. It's really nice of how it feels like he's doing something, and kind of like he's keeping his mind busy, which is great. Things that jump out at me kind of like on a frame by frame basis. I think kind of like you got the body mechanics and everything pretty well sorted out. I think that one point, where he kind of like leaves the scissors on the side of the sink, he bends down quite a bit and he moves away from camera to a degree. I think kind of like you could have the focus go straight to the sink, just because it's just one of those things where he kind of like looks and he knows that the shelf is there. It's just like bit more distracted, so he can actually just leave the actual scissors, and then the head can actually glide straight into the sink. And I think that you could just have that a little bit clearer. Again, just to, that he's aware of his space, he knows how it works, and then you can come over, washing the hands, which is good as well. I think you probably have some other animation as well over there. And yeah, love the way that he dries things out, speaks his line. With her shot, when she comes into some realization all of a sudden, and shot 180, that frame's, kind of like nice and tight, on her, which I don't think's a bad thing at all. But I think that as she looks up, you could have just the smallest camera kind of like tilt up just with her head a little bit. It's not really a animation thing. I mean, the shot works perfectly in a still, but I think that moment of realization could just be a little bit tighter, whether you just move it up a little bit or maybe just push a little bit in with the camera so it's a bit more closer. But I'm talking about really, really, really tiny changes, and that's kind of like just for the move when she starts lifting her head in 183. That's pretty much the point where I'd kind of like take that little detail there. And then when she says, "I love kung fu," Um, it's almost a frame 252 before you cut into 265. I think there you could have a motion that continues across both shots, so you marry them a little better. So when you go into your last shot in 265, it's I love kung fu. She can be doing this kind of like little drift forward with her head, and you can keep that in 265 because she's gone into her main performance of talking of I love kung fu. And as she glides forward like that, you can just have the end of that motion start off around 265, and just ease her into that, so that she's paying a bit more attention and awe to him, and that will add a bit more. And the last note that I got for you is very much, you should come over and watch some kung fu. Great little bend back in the on the arc, but I don't get, like his final attitude to a degree. I think the pose that he ends up in sorry, three that's 309. His pose in 309, it's just a bit, he's a bit spaced instead of, is he more focused on what he's doing right now in terms of cleaning his hands? Is he still looking back at her? I remember that in your original planning, he was more like, cool, you should come watch some kung fu, but I don't think that that's the attitude that you're going for here. But I think that he needs to have his pose, the one that he finishes on, just a bit stronger, so that you're very clear at the end of what the attitude is between these two characters. Evidently, she's very attracted to the idea of going to watch the kung fu film with him. What's his reaction to it? Is it if it's completely mundane? It can just be him be more focusing on on the towels and his eyes kind of like more focused doing those types of things, because when he kind of like comes over and you go into 323, which is kind of like the settle for that end pose, he's looking there, but kind of like the attitude's pretty much the same. It's kind of like not too focused on something, so we don't know what kind of like the punch or the strong line is at the end of the actual thing. And then, you know, some really nice stuff with her subtle stuff over here. But no, man, it's looking great. You know, hope that helps somehow. If not, it doesn't confuse you too much. But it's looking great, man. Keep going, okay? See you soon. Bye.